is something that I will do at some point. So we can see that for my 2025 Notion tour is something that I will do at some point, and here I am doing it. Hello everyone, happy 2025. Welcome to the channel. I'm making this video a little bit later than what might be typical. We're already like a full solid week into the new year, and I'm only making this now, but I'm gonna kind of say I've done it on purpose because I like to give my like planning sorts of things a little bit of time to like settle in, make sure I'm happy with it. I actually was making some tweaks and changes like literally like today and yesterday. I had some things that I remembered that I wanted to add in, but I think I'm finally ready now to do my 2025 Notion tour for the year. I've been using Notion for a couple of years now. It is my absolute favorite software to use for all of my like life admin planning purposes, content creation, planning, all sorts of things like that. And I feel like every year I kind of get more and more of an idea of what works, what doesn't. So I like to spend some time at like the end of a year and beginning of like a new year, kind of going through, adjusting, tweaking, setting up my new systems, because I do run a couple of like things on like a yearly kind of basis. So like my budget, like refresh that at the end of the year and beginning of a new year, and kind of like reset and do all that. And then while I'm doing that, I do my goal planning and setting for the year, my vision board, and do all of those kind of fun things as well. So we're going to talk about all of that today. I'm going to give you a tour of my Notion, and that's going to go over kind of like all these systems that I have set up in place, as well as some of my like goals and planning specifically for 2025. So I think let's jump straight into it. I'm going to screen record, show you what the setup is looking like at the moment. We are ready. I've got the screen recording going, and we dive straight in to my home page over here. So the first thing that you will notice is that my cover page for my Notion is my vision board for the year. So I took some time, kind of like the first or second day of January, to set up my vision board and kind of like relate all of this to some of the goals that I want to achieve for the year. I do have it actually a little bit bigger than what can actually be seen here, and I do also have it saved a couple of other places, like it's one of my like widgets on my phone, so I'm seeing it in a couple of places, not just Notion. But I like that I can also like drag and reposition like this. So if I just want to see the abundance, then I can see that. If I just want to see the 2025, if I want to see the stuff more at the top or more at the bottom, at the moment I'm just going to position it like this: 2025, the year of abundance, which is my theme for the year. I can't remember how long ago it was that I started setting themes for the year, but I've definitely done it the past 2 years. I think this is my 3rd year in a row doing it. Last year, my theme or my word for the year was flexibility. The year before that, I think it was consistency. And now this year is the year of abundance. And I've added in my little definition for abundance here: plentifulness of the good things of life and prosperity, because that is what I am trying to manifest for 2025. I just want more of the good things in life, and I feel like abundance is a word that I really want to try and embody in my mindset and the way that I approach things in life this year. So that's what we're going with. We'll get into more of that when I talk through my goals section, but I've got a couple of quotes kind of relating to that. So my quote over here as well: abundance surrounds me and I am grateful, because I'm also trying to like cultivate a little bit of that like gratitude mindset as well, of like not just like, yes, there is abundance in my life, but also like recognizing, like not just striving for more abundance, recognizing the abundance that already exists in my life and being cognizant and grateful of that fact. I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional with that, and that's why this is one of like the main first quotes that I see when I open up my home page. Then I've got my little dashboard section over here, which is something that I have had going for a while now. This really works out for me, and I've got it into these 4 separate pillars of daily, life, household, and content creation. So daily, these are things that I need to kind of be checking in with on a daily basis, as the name might suggest. Life is just more general stuff. Don't need to be looking at it daily, but it's like stuff that I want to keep track of or have in my Notion relating to my life. Household, this is more stuff that I kind of share with Cody, and these are pages that I might like share with him. So it's got our budget manager, meal prep, and then just a household list. So that's basically just a list of things that I want for the house. So when I have an urge to buy something, I can pop it on that list and then like contemplate it. And then content creation, these links to broader databases for both my personal content creation and my political stuff that I do. So starting off with daily, the first thing is habits and routines. I've revamped this page a little bit because I used to just have like a habit tracker, and I did it for like the past 2 years, and I would start like pretty strongly with the year, consistent with the habit tracker, and then I would very quickly fall off the bandwagon. What I've done now is I've got the habit tracker, but I've also got just a reminder here of what is my daily habits that I want to implement, what are my weekly habits that I want to implement, what is my morning routine that's going to help me hit these habits when I'm both high energy and low energy, because that's another thing that I was running into, and a change that I actually made in the middle of the last year is that I had this like perfect optimized morning routine, and I was like, yes, I'm going to do this morning routine. But then if I was like feeling like really low energy and didn't have the capacity for that morning routine, then everything was just falling off the bandwagon for the rest of the day. So I've got a high energy one where I'm going to like get out of bed at 6 a.m. and then I've got a low energy one, which is where I'm like, my alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and I'm not getting out of bed. I feel like I need to snooze my alarm and then have a little bit of time on my phone on my bed, adjust to the world. And then this is like much more like I can stay in bed for as long as possible, but still do the things that I want to do and need to do, and still be kind of ready by the time that I need to be ready to actually start my working day. These may change slightly in the year. I sometimes have like early morning meetings that I have to be online for, so the times of this may shift, but this is generally what I'm going to try follow. And then I've also got my evening routine here, which is going to also help me keep on track with some of these habits, and I'm very open to tweaking these and adjusting these throughout the year as I find what works best for me. Then next, I've got my actual like habit tracker over here. So I'm using a new habit tracking template this year, just because I was using one that I think was like a little bit overly complicated last year. Like I can't even remember because I fell off with it so quickly. So this is just a super simple one that's going to be allow me to track my habits. I haven't looked too much into kind of this like progress bar and like the this week and the back end thing. I'm not sure I love this progress the way that it's displayed. I don't know, I'm gonna probably keep playing with this and tweaking this. The most important thing is that I've actually just got my daily, weekly habits planned out and my different routines planned out all in one accessible place, so that I can keep reminding myself of that until it actually does become a habit. And what I'm really going to be try and be intentional with doing is stacking these habits slowly. So you'll actually, if we go back here, you'll notice that I haven't been like the most consistent with all of these so far. What I'm going to try to do is all of these daily habits that I want to implement, I'm going to try stack them slowly and not try and go for it all out, all in the gate. So I'm going to start with like the vitamins and glutamine, taking that every day. That's something that's been quite easy to implement. I've got my Duolingo streak going, slowly getting there with the journaling and reading one chapter of the book. I'm going to get there with my skincare, the protein, the workouts are going well. So I'm going to like, as I kind of feel like I'm really on track with one, really try add another, and then throughout the year I might see there might be more things that I want to add into this. But that's the idea, is to like really go slowly with it and not put too much pressure on myself if like I'm not perfect with it from January 1st. Then I've got my journal and my dream journal. These are staying exactly the same from last year. So basically what it is I literally just have journal entries. I can, if I do a new entry, it's going to allow me to log my mood. I've also got some templates for some journaling prompts. I do think I actually want to switch some of those up, just because I haven't found that I've been using them that much. I might be looking for some new prompts throughout the year to kind of add different templates for different prompts that I can use. Basically just like a little summary of how I'm feeling, what's going on. I usually do this in the evening, but I do have morning prompts here just in case I do decide to add in an extra journaling session in the morning or things switch up. And then my dream journal, this is not something that I necessarily want to do every single day because I don't always remember my dreams, but I've got basically just a way to track my dreams and I go back and look on them if I want to. I've got a template for bad dreams and I've got a template for good dreams, so I can also like kind of get an overview of like, am I having good dreams mostly, or am I having bad dreams mostly? Is that like indicative of something? So that's a nice thing to track. And then I've also got my protein tracker here. So one of my key goals, I actually need to update this goal because I realized that like 100 grams is definitely not sustainable for me. Long term, like 75 grams is kind of going to be the minimum, and then if I go over that, that's great. But basically I've got my key of like, what are these like common meals that I am eating and what are their protein quantities, and then I can go in and record what my morning snack, breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, a third snack if I'm having like dessert or something, what that is and what my total protein is for the day. I still need to get on track with actually doing this. The tracking this and having this as one of my daily habits is going to be one of the later ones that I stack, because I don't feel like my nutrition is like awful, and it's also not like a huge priority for me at the moment. As I get closer to actually competing and my training intensity ramps up, this will become more important. So I've kind of given myself some grace and some time to get this stacked. Okay, then moving on to the life section over here. This is where it gets super exciting because this is my 2025 goals section. And I did spend quite a lot of time on this. So basically Cody and I sat on January 1st. We did a little like date. We went out to Doppio Zero. I brought my laptop, and we just sat and we brainstormed and we spoke about some of the goals that we want to achieve. What do we want our lives to look like? What are the different pillars that we're looking at? We came up with our words of the year. So I came up with abundance, Cody came up with his word of the year, and we just like basically, especially like looking at some of the goals that are a little bit more collaborative, we had a look at that. So my goals are separated up into different pillars. So I've got relationships, professional, health and wellness, financial, travel, home, and content creation. Those are my different pillars. And then for each of that, I've got a vision that I want. And then I've also got goals related to that vision, and then habits or tasks that are related to those goals, so that I can start stacking in those habits, start doing those tasks, so that I have actually like a plan of action for how to achieve these goals. There are much more complicated and like fancy ways to like track this, and like people have like entire like goal systems with, especially in Notion, with like databases and stuff like that. I wanted to keep it a little bit more simple, but still having those different levels of like the vision, the goal, and then the actual like habits that I'm going to be implementing. So for relationships, like the idea is abundance of love and connection, shared experience, meaningful relationships. So it's about planning quality time together regularly for me and Cody, expanding my social network, and then stay organized and aligned using a Google Calendar to plan events and stuff like that. And I've got that kind of for every different category. I'm not going to talk through all of these because it's just going to be a lot, but there are some key ones that I am going to kind of speak on. So the first is the health and wellness goals. I feel like this is particularly relevant because especially of the type of content that I'm making on the channel at the moment. I do want to be posting some more about like my training and my pole journeys and stuff like that. So on the health and wellness front, I want to be able to do 10 pull-ups and 10 push-ups in a row. So to do this, I'm going to be strength training at the gym twice weekly, focusing on progressive overload and those movements. So my one gym day is going to be a more pull-up focused session. My second gym day is going to be a more push-up focused session, in addition to some other like accessory work. And I'm going to make sure that I'm doing that twice a week, progressively overloading. I probably could achieve this quicker if I like increase the number of gym sessions, but I also do have other goals relating to other things. So twice a week is what's sustainable for me, and that's what I'm going to do. My second goal is to get a flat middle splits. This has been a goal of mine that I have had for a while, but I just haven't actually like stuck to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch my middle splits twice weekly and incorporate that into my workout schedule. And then I also want to complete a 4-week daily middle splits stretching challenge in February. So that is one of the tasks for the year, that in February I want to try and just do like a period of like stretching like middle splits every single day. And I also feel like I'm not putting too much pressure on the stretching twice weekly for January, as I'm still acclimatizing to a new kind of workout schedule and that. But I feel like the 4-week challenge in February is really going to kickstart me into like getting a start on this goal. I'm currently actually doing a pole challenge, a 31-day pole challenge for January. That's like conditioning workouts. So I feel like it's going to be quite easy to transition the time that I'm doing on those pole workouts to more of a stretching challenge in February, while like changing it up so to keep things interesting for me. My third goal is to qualify for the World Championship, so I want to follow my structured weekly training plan, including skill work and conditioning every week. And my task for that is by the end of January, I want to have a training plan in place for nationals by the end of January. Again, not putting too much pressure to have everything done by January 1st, but like this month, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to figure out my training plan. I'm going to make sure that I've got enough sessions in and really like committed to all the different things that I need to do to actually achieve that goal of having the best routine possible, and then hopefully achieving that goal of qualifying for Worlds. And then goal number 4 is to optimize my nutrition and recovery. So this habit is drinking a protein shake every day to meet my protein target of 75 grams, as well as taking vitamins and supplements every morning and glutamine every evening. You'll see that these are already incorporated into my habits from the previous page, so everything kind of links together. The next like pillar I'm going to talk about here is just on content creation, because I have some goals for that. This is something that I actually like, why I didn't film this video on January 1st when like I first created this, because this is a pillar I actually added in within the past couple of days. It was something that I thought of, like, actually I do want to have content creation specific goals in my like 2025 goals and planning. So my idea here, vision, is an abundance of engaging content, success, passion, and growth. I want to reach the goal of monetizing this YouTube channel. I'm really close. I need like basically 70 more subscribers, and then I'm at that 1,000 subscriber mark where I can actually monetize my channel and hopefully start getting some sort of income from it. I'm not like fixed on like I want to be earning a set amount. The goal just for this year is just to monetize, and then we'll see where it goes from there and what my goals might be for next year. But the habits for this is to post 2 long form videos per month on YouTube and really try and be consistent with that. And then also plan and outline my video topics in my content calendar at the start of each month and really be diligent and consistent with that. Because last year I was quite sporadic with it, where I'd like have some ideas and like have like a burst of motivation and I'd plan all this content, and then I wouldn't actually like revisit it and make sure that I was actually sticking to that. So it's like checking in with that once a month, making sure that I'm following that plan and being consistent with it. Then I also want to stay consistent across Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. So I want to post at least 1 Instagram Reel per week on my personal Instagram that can be cross-posted to TikTok and YouTube Shorts, just to keep that kind of engagement there. And then I also want to grow my politics channel by Caitlin Rawson to 100K on TikTok. This is quite an ambitious goal because I'm currently on like I think 74K, so it will be quite a big like growth that I would need to get there. But I'm really just going to try to be super consistent, dedicating 1 day per week to filming and editing TikTok content, establishing and following through with long running series consisting of weekly videos, and really trying to like add like a value add with that long form series, and make sure that like I'm providing like good insights, good value and nuance to my audience there. And hopefully that will get me to 100K. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world, but like I might as well set like a super ambitious goal for TikTok, since for YouTube we're just like trying to get 70 more subscribers, which is I feel like very achievable. And then I also want to post 2 long form YouTube videos on my by Caitlin Rawson channel. So not on this channel that we're currently on. I have another channel that's specifically about like South African politics, and I've posted a handful of YouTube videos there, but I really want to just like focus on making 2 high quality videos over the course of the year. I'm not sure exactly what topics they're going to be on yet, but getting that done just to try and start nurturing something there. So that's some of my goals. Like I said, I'm not going to go into depth on all of them because otherwise that's all we'll be here for. And there's some that I do kind of want to keep a little bit more private and that are not really like ones that I'm going to specifically be advertising. But that's what we're looking at for 2025. So going back to the homepage when it loads. So going back to the homepage, I have a page here that's literally just called Wants List. It's got nothing on it, but this, and I'm actually going to talk about the list under household at the same time. These are basically just lists where if there's something that I think of that I want to buy or want to get or think that will like add value to my life, that is like a purchase kind of thing, that I can put it there, and then I don't have to buy it straight away. Sometimes literally just writing it down is all I need to do, and then I never think about it again until like I come back to the list and I'm like, oh, that thing. It does give me a good idea for like birthdays and like Christmas, because often like I struggle when like someone asks me, like it gets to my birthday and they like people are like, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, I have never had a single desire in my life. So just by like writing things down, I can then come back to that and be like, oh actually I did want that, but I didn't actually like buy it at the time or follow through with it. And this also, like, I feel like it's a good way to manage like impulse spending. I don't really have a huge problem with impulse spending in general, but I think it's also because I do things like this. So like, instead of buying something immediately, I'm going to put it on my wants list, and then if it's still something that I'm thinking about in a couple weeks time, then I'm going to actually buy it. Or if it's still something that I'm feeling like, oh, I really need that will make my life easier, I'll buy it. And I've got one for like personal and then one for like the household. The household one I actually did fill in towards the end of last year with a whole bunch of things that I do want for the house, so that when we have like a little bit of extra money and we're like, okay, we've got some extra money, we want to get something for the house, what do we get? I can go and I can look at this list and see, okay, I said I wanted a new coffee table because I feel like our coffee table is not big enough at the moment. So we can then check off whichever of those might fit into the budget at any given point in time. Anyway, moving on to fitness stuff. This is a little bit of a work in progress page at the moment. I've been trying some new things and we'll see how they go, but basically I've got my 2025 schedule and I basically plan out my like training schedule of what I'm going to be doing on which days, and I really like to take my time with this and make sure that I'm not like overloading myself. At the moment, Thursdays are my race days, which works out well because that is usually my busiest work day, and it's also a day when I don't teach at the studio, so it can just be a complete rest day. And then that's changed. Sundays used to be my rest day, but I'm actually finding like Thursdays I'm busy with work so I can rest, whereas Sundays like I'm not busy with work, so resting, like then it's actually when I have the time to be doing more. So it's when I'm going to fit in my second gym session of the week, because otherwise just with what I'm doing in the week there's not really time, and just having the rest day on a Thursday spreads things out really nicely. It's the middle of the week, works well for me. So that's what we're going to try for this year. You'll see here I've got my pole destroyers conditioning that I'm actually doing at the moment. I'm doing that like 31-day challenge, so that's only for January, and then I'll shift this and I'll adapt this when I start my middle splits challenge, for example, and this will shift and change throughout the year as my training needs and my goals, like specific short-term goals, change throughout the year. I've also started creating my workout database. So this workout database has all my different types of workouts that I do, so whether it's flexibility or stretching, upper body, front splits, middle splits, my rehab exercises, my strength training, whether that's aerial conditioning or my gym workouts, and then cardio is a treadmill session. And then this, I'm busy in the process of kind of linking it to this workout tracker. So basically what happens is when I do a workout, I can say new, and then I can hit the template for what type of workout it is. I can fill in my details of my average heart rate, if it's cardio, how far I walked, because I usually just walk on the treadmill for cardio, or the Stairmaster, so I can do that, the duration, and it just gives me a way to track my workouts. As you can see, last week I didn't really do much, but I did start getting back into the gym this week on Tuesday, so I've got my full body gym session tracked over there, and then I'll continue to track this kind of throughout the year, and I'll see if it works. And then I've just got all my old programs, because I've got a lot of kind of like old stuff that I was working on that I've kind of like updated and changed since then, but I still want to have this here for reference, so it's kind of basically serving as an archive at the moment. At some point I'll probably move it off to my actual archive, but for now I still like to be able to refer back to it quite easily. So that's the fitness stuff. Like I said, a little bit of a work in progress. That might change throughout the year just because it is kind of like a very new system for me, and I might need to adapt it. I'm not going to go into the TV shows and movies because, well, I'll go into it, but I'm not going to spend much time talking about it because I have not been using it. So you can see that I've got like 5 things on here and I've not really been using it. I think I might delete this. I'm keeping it there for now just in case I do have a renewed interest. I thought it would be good for like making sure that I'm not kind of like forgetting about shows that I started watching, but I'm just forgetting to fill in this tracker completely, so it might not be worthwhile to keep it on there. And then I've also got my Taylor Swift ranking here. If you watch this channel, you know we're currently up to, I need to film my Evermore ranking next, and we'll be continuing with that, but I just love having that there. It's Taylor Swift is a part of my life, what can I say? Then moving on to household, I've got my budget manager over here, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, but Cody and I have started with a new slightly adapted system of the budget that we were doing last year. The one last year worked out pretty well for us. We just weren't happy with some of the categories, so we tweaked some of the categories a little bit. We sat together on that day that we sat together on the 1st of January. We kind of like looked at our budget and we planned, and we decided kind of like which categories are working for us, which categories are not, where do we need to increase, where do we need to decrease, where are we trying to save money, how much are we trying to save. So that is all sorted and set up. And basically what I do is just every month go in there and input the values into the different categories. It works quite easily with our banking apps because the banking apps kind of sorted into categories initially, so I just need to double check that that's correct, put it into Notion from kind of like both of our different bank accounts because we do have combined finances, and then from there I look at our income and we just track and make sure that we're on track. One of the habits for this year that I'm going to be doing with Cody is that once a week we want to have a look at our kind of grocery spending and our grocery budget, because that has been a little bit out of control. It's been crazy last year, and we've been going over budget kind of pretty consistently in that area. So we did kind of reevaluate and relook at that, but we really want to make sure that we're staying more on track and more on top of that, and also like sorting out the categories a little bit better. We've split groceries and eating out into two separate categories so we can really like try and check where the issue is, because previously we just had like food and as one general category. So we're going to see, is it the groceries that's an issue? Is it the eating out that's an issue? Where's the issue coming from, and how can we kind of like address that to make sure that we're sticking to a more reasonable budget every month? And that brings us to our next thing, which is meal prep. This is also like a little bit of a work in progress kind of thing, but basically every week I need to go in and kind of fill out my meal plan for the week, what I'm eating Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is subject to change, but it just gives me a better idea. I've got a whole list of meal ideas that I'm continually going to try and be adding to over here. And then the recipe book, this is part of like, I actually can't remember where I found this template from, but it's like a whole thing where it like links a recipe book to a pantry to a shopping list situation. And we tried using it for a little bit last year. I kind of adapted and created my own version of it. I feel like a little bit too complicated for what I need. I like to keep my stuff like a little bit more simple. The recipe book like does work quite well, where like you just like click this button, add to shopping list, and then it adds it to your shopping list. However, you need to then keep your pantry updated so that it like knows what you've already got, because it's like linked to this. So what I might be doing for this year is deleting the pantry section, because like it's honestly actually just easier to check what's in the fridge and what's in the cupboard than like checking, updating it to the pantry and then like doing it here. And we do our meal prep like and our shopping like once a week on a Sunday anyway. So I'm probably going to delete the pantry section, just use the recipe book and the shopping list of like, okay, these are the meals that we're planning for the week, what do we need to buy? And then from the shopping list we can just check, okay, if it's something that we've got or not. So this is something that probably will be changing and switching up throughout the year to be able to make more use of it, because I didn't really make much good use of it last year, but it exists, it's there. Then I'll save content creation for maybe a separate video. This video feels like it's getting very long, but we'll come back to it at some point, whether it be this video or a later video. Anyway, next, I've just got my little quote, everything I want wants me more, kind of the motto for the year, manifesting that abundance. And then I've got my little brain dump section over here, so I can create a new task for my list. And this list is basically just a master database of different things that I need to do. So I've got my task, the status, the category, the due date, the estimated time it'll take to complete, and then the priority. I don't always fill out the due date, the estimated time, or the priority, but I do generally fill out these things of like, if it's not started, if it's done. I'll probably organize this like as a master database a little bit better, because you'll see there's some things that are like done here that I like obviously don't need to be keeping track of, but that's because I don't actually go into this. This is just like a place for the list to exist. This button creates a new task for the list, so then I can open that and set up my new task. And then where I actually have a look at these is over here. So shit needs to get done and my radar. So we can see that shit needs to get done. I was supposed to fill my Evermore ranking on the 9th of December, or by the 9th of December, and I have still not started that. So we're looking good today. But then these are for ones that have a specific due date that I wanted to get things done by. So it's like more kind of urgent stuff. And then I've got stuff that's just on my radar. It doesn't have a due date. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but it is something that I will do at some point. So we can see that Film My 2025 Notion Tour is something that I will do at some point, and here I am doing it. And then I've just got this like nice little quote here on the side just to kind of add some visual interest to that. But that's my kind of like to-do list. And then also anytime that I want to like just jot something down, I can either jot it directly down into here and type it into this brain dump section, or what I tend to prefer to do is just create a new brainstorming page that's going to create a page that literally is going to come right here. So that's what we did for when we had that, like, me and Cody had that little planning session. I opened a new page and I just did some brainstorming for my goals, and then from that brainstorming I took it and I put it into like my actual 2025 goals page. Last thing here is just some buttons for my journal and my dream journal. This is mainly for when I am on my phone, because I do a lot of my stuff on my phone, and it's way easier to just be able to create a new page for my journal and a new page for my dream journal with these buttons over here. So that's essentially what that is. I think there are probably more optimized ways to do this and prettier ways, but this is what's been working for me, so I can't even remember how I set it up. I'm just leaving it for now. And then we have this section. So this is my weekly planning session. So I've got a button here that will literally create a new week like this. What I do is I put in what I'm grateful for, my goals for the week. I then can put in my to-dos, like broken down by day. So this is like my kind of like more general to-do list. And then I can look here when I'm doing my planning on a Sunday and see, okay, which of these things that I put in this list can I do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? And then if there's anything else that I think of while I'm planning, I can put it straight in here or in here. I know like the general kind of idea and consensus is like don't have too many different places where you store your tasks, but I feel like these are very close together and it's like for a different purpose. So that's kind of why I have it like this. And this is just a system that is working for me at the moment. If it stops working for me, I might change it, but I just put in the date of the week, the Monday that it is, and then I turn this into a toggle button and pop it in my weekly archive when I am done with the week. So here you can literally go back and see all of the different weeks that I've been doing this for. And I like also having that like as like a diary almost to be able to go back on. So that's why I keep it like that, where I have that weekly archive, and it's the system that works for me at the moment. It's kind of like a mishmash of like the more like complex database and the more simple just like bullet journal type spread. So yeah, I might eventually transition to mainly just focusing on this and using like a combination of this and Google Calendar. I still haven't quite figured out how Notion Calendar works. I know it can integrate with Google Calendar. I'm not sure that I like want to do that. Basically what I do is my planning for the week on a Sunday involves looking at this, any tasks, filling them in here. This is for like tasks and to-dos, and then I also go to my Google Calendar and I schedule in any events or calendar items that I have, and then I use this in conjunction with my Google Calendar. I block off like my work time and any time that I'm going to be busy for, and I try and also like create time for all of my like habits and things like that, any like routine things that I need to be doing on a weekly basis in my Google Calendar, and that's kind of what works for me at the moment. So yeah, that is basically the Notion tour. In terms of content creation, I've basically just got a very simple setup. So I've got a space for a brain dump. I've got my like different video ideas on a calendar, and then I can go into each of them and like add like details and scripts. The one for my politics page is like slightly more complicated, maybe. I've got like a slightly different system of like all my different ideas of what I want to be doing. So this is like a sneak peek. I've got basically like a brain dump section over here of all sorts of like goals and ideas and ambitions. And then I also do have the calendar view, which is empty at the moment. I need to get back on this. And then I also have like a to film list of like stuff that I've got ideas for, but I haven't filmed yet, and I have a date that I need to film it by. All goes here of like stuff that's not been posted. This needs to be like redone. This is a little bit of a mess at the moment because I kind of deprioritized that page towards the end of last year. I was just like not feeling it, but we'll get there. We'll get back into it. But anyway, that is basically my whole Notion tour. Okay, that is it for my Notion tour 2025. I'm feeling really good about this year. I feel like I've got a positive start and like a good direction. I feel like I've got some nice systems in place. They might get tweaked and changed throughout the year like I mentioned, but in general, I've kind of figured out what works for me with Notion, and really it is about keeping it like more simple and more straightforward. There's a lot of videos that I like really love watching about these super like complicated like databases and systems where there's so much that can be tracked and like analyzed, and I I don't have the like sustainability with those sorts of systems. Like I really need something like that's a lot simpler to kind of just maintain, and I feel like this is what's working for me at the moment. We'll see if it changes throughout the year and into next year, and I will be back with another one of these videos next year. Definitely, we'll see what 2026 might bring, but yeah, this is the setup for 2025. Like I said, feeling good about it. Let me know if you have any suggestions or recommendations or things that you love to do with Notion. Do you use Notion for your planning? Have you tried Notion Calendar? Because I don't know if I should like try and like put the time into like trying to get to grips with Notion Calendar, because I also only moved to Google Calendar. Like recently I was using my Apple Calendar, so now that I'm using Google Calendar, I'm like, should I use Notion Calendar? But I think the system that I've got at the moment is working for me. I'm also waffling and rambling now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Please like the video if you did enjoy this video and you want to see more videos like this where I talk about like my planning and my systems. Leave suggestions of future content that you might want to see from me in the comments if you feel like it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Like I said, my goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, so if you want to be part of the first 1,000 people to have subscribed to this channel, subscribe now so that you can get on the train before I hopefully explode into massive popularity and success in 2025. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around. If you're a regular viewer of my content, I really appreciate you. You are the reason that I make these videos and continue to do so, because it's nice to see the support and the growth, and I'm really enjoying it, and I will hopefully be seeing you for 2 videos a month in the rest of 2025. Goodbye.